Hello and welcome to another segment with Boxing with the Truth, and I am the truth of who is who in boxing. Let's talk about the upcoming fight on January 25th at Black Bear Casino, Carlton, Minnesota. We have, I believe, 7 fights on the card, and we have an NABU lightweight title match. So let's start off with the first match of the night. Lightweights. Cody McManical. 0-1 against Anthony Danowski. 0-3. Well, if you like underdogs, folks, I guess either one could be the underdog in this fight. But Cody McManical actually was a very, very good amateur fighter. He's a country boy. He fought for his country. He's a family man. Very skilled fighter. Comes out fast. Can pop the jab. Can throw body shots. Moves very well around the ring. Good footwork. Unfortunately, like I said, he's 0-1. There's some speculation what happened with that first fight. Maybe he jumped up too soon. Maybe his people behind the scenes matched him up wrong. It could be anybody's guess, but I personally think he's a very sharp fighter, and I think he's going to come out and he's going to show that on January 25th. And this fight's probably not even going to go 4 rounds. But the one weakness I do see in Cody McManical is he doesn't fight well under pressure. So Anthony Danowski, if you watch this video, that's the key I'm telling you right now to beat Cody. Pressure, pressure, pressure. You have to back him up. You're going to have to fight him in the corners. You're going to have to fight him on the ropes. Do not fight him in the middle of the ring. You are 0-3. You're coming out with nothing to lose. Put it all in the ring. Go after him. Hit him with everything you got. Combinations, hooks, body shots, uppercuts. But keep him out of the middle of the ring. That's your one chance to win this fight. The key word, pressure. If you don't put pressure on him, you let him force this fight on you, it will be over in less than 4 rounds. I guarantee it. Alright, let's move on to the next fight. Lightweights, Dustin Mason. 5-1 with 4 knockouts versus Jacob Fox, 1-0. Another 4-round fight. Let me tell you right now, this is going to be an explosive fight. These little guys, I've watched tape on both of them. Dustin Mason's going to come out. He's going to come out fast. He's going to come out swinging. He's going to come out trying to knock Jacob Fox out in the first round. Jacob Fox is going to come out the same way. He runs out to the middle of the ring swinging with both hands. The one weakness I see is the fact that both hands are going at the same time. Sometimes you don't get him back quick enough for defense. And Dustin Mason might just catch him with something and put him on his back. But if you love watching a fight in a phone booth, that's exactly what this is probably going to be. 2 little guys standing in the middle of the ring, trading punches to see who can knock the other one to the canvas first. If it doesn't end in less than 4 rounds, this is going to be a very explosive fight for 4 rounds. So, it could go either way, honestly. I just think it's going to be an exciting fight, and I think it's worth to come and watch if you like action-packed fights. Let's move on to the next one. Light welterweights, Marcus Morris. He is 1-0. His last fight was explosive. It was a war in his very first fight against Andre Tiva, making his debut as a boxer. If you've heard that name before, it's because he's an MMA fighter, and he's been around for quite a while in MMA. And I guess he's decided to switch over to boxing. But I personally think that it's a mistake for him to switch over in this fight because Marcus Morris is a very good amateur fighter. He has a very good jab. He comes out fast. And he will pick his opponents apart. He also has power when he chooses to use it. Hopefully he's going to use it in this fight. And he's going to knock out Andre in less than 6 rounds or 4 rounds. But Andre's going to have to come out and put the pressure on Marcus. Because if he stands at the end of his jab, it's going to be a long night. Because he doesn't really have his own jab. He throws wild hooks. He is aggressive. He does have fast hands. He can throw some good uppercuts, but the problem is he's not going to be able to throw any uppercuts if Marcus Morris doesn't let him inside. And if Marcus Morris uses his jab right, he's not going to be able to get inside. So Marcus Morris should be able to put a clinic on him, should be able to out-jab him, and just move around all night and out-point him if he feels like it. Now, if he wants to make it a showstopper, well, Marcus Morris, put your power behind that punch and end this fight early. Simple as that. Next fight, light middleweights. Charles Myers, 8-2-2 against Stephan Watt, 2-0. Now, Charles Myers, another skilled fighter. I mean, I was trying to find a bad thing about this guy, honestly. I mean, he throws to the body. He throws great jabs. I mean, he can jab all night long. He throws a nice overhand right. He gets you in the corner. He works the body, works the head. He will go to war with you in the middle of the ring. He throws nice uppercuts. He turns on the power when he wants to, even though he actually only has 3 knockouts. I mean, I really couldn't find a flaw in his boxing game. He's like a technician. He's a student in the game. He corrects mistakes as soon as he makes them. You can see it in the next round that he doesn't do them again. I mean, Stephan Watts has his hand full. Because I've watched the last 2 fights with Stephan Watts. His first one, he came out really good. Fought really well. His last fight against Corey Rodriguez, he looks a little confused. And I think that's what's going to happen is the veteran Corey Rodriguez confused him by hitting him with angles and stuff. And I think Charles Myers is going to be able to do the same thing, confuse him after about the 2nd or 3rd round. And I think Stephan Watts is going to have a lot of problems again. But if he puts the pressure on Charles and gets him into the ropes, the corners, and tries to bully him, then Charles is going to have to fight off the ropes, and it might be a more interesting fight. But I think if Stephan Watts tries to fight this fight in the middle of the ring, it's not going to fare very well for him, and it might not even go 6 rounds, honestly. Let's move to the next fight. Speaking of Corey Rodriguez, light middleweights. Corey Rodriguez, 8-3-3 against BJ Tomlinson. Corey Rodriguez, another veteran fighter. Can fight very good from angles. Comes out with a jab. Can work the body very good. Has good footwork. Will go to war with you in the middle of the ring. Has no problem doing that. If you come to fight and just want to fight and not box, Corey's more than willing to fight. And from what I've seen with BJ Tomlinson, he throws a lot of different punches, and I give him credit for that. He's very good at a body shot. You can tell he puts a lot into it. But I think he's a little cocky, and I think he's going to come in a little aggressive, try to knock Corey's head off. And Corey's pretty skilled, and like I said, he's a veteran. So he's going to know how to outmaneuver BJ and maybe play with him a little bit and possibly get him out of there. The one thing BJ might have going for him is, like I said, the power. He might have more power than Corey, but Corey's a slick fighter, and Corey's going to know how to outwit BJ. And if he doesn't get BJ out of there in 6 rounds, he's definitely going to outpoint him. But like I said, BJ does throw a lot of nice punches, though. So if he can somehow bait Corey into just a straight fight in the middle of the ring and get lucky enough to catch one on the chin, he might be able to end the fight. But I just don't see him outworking Corey and having the skill set to beat Corey. All right, let's move on to the lightweights. Jeremy McLaurin. He is 10-6-1 versus Robbie Cannon, who is 13-8-2. This is an 8-round fight, and this is for the NABU lightweight title. Robbie Cannon holds it right now. He beat Gary Iyer for the title and took it away from him. Jeremy's trying to bring it back to Minnesota. Jeremy McLaurin is a very slick fighter. He can roll with punches. He will fight you in the middle of the ring as well. His jab, he can fight you all night with his jab. He's got a nice overhand right. He can throw body shots. But if Robbie Cannon can pressure him on the ropes and in the corners, Robbie Cannon has definitely a chance to keep his belt. Robbie has a short jab, so I really don't think it's going to work too much in this fight, because as long as Jeremy's keeping the jab pumping, Robbie's not going to be able to use his. Robbie's going to have to muscle him, use body shots, like I said, keep him on the ropes. Alright, let's get to the next fight. Al Sands, Al the Haitian Temptation Sands, 11-1 versus Henry Namawu, who is 10-7. Henry is coming all the way from Las Vegas to fight Al Sands. So Al Sands definitely is going to let somebody come all the way from Las Vegas and beat him in his hometown. Al Sands is still the Minnesota Cruiserweight Champion, but there's no belt on the line. But Al Sands is a technician. He takes the first round, studies his opponents, and just picks all their mistakes apart in the next 2, 3, 4 rounds. Nobody's lasted over 4 rounds with Al Sands. So that tells you one thing right there, that Al is a student in the game. He figures out your mistakes quick, and he gets you out of there quick. But I could see this fight possibly going 6 rounds, 5 rounds. This guy might actually carry Al Sands into some deep water, which would be good for Al. I've watched some video on Henry. He's going to come aggressive. He throws some good hooks, some good body shots. Not a lot of people have thrown body shots on Al Sands. So I'm interested to see if Al Sands is going to take a good body shot. The one thing I do see is Al doesn't like a lot of pressure in the corners. This guy might try to bully him and put him in the corners. So we'll see what Al does with that. But I think if the fight stays in the middle of the ring, Al Sands is probably definitely going to get a knockout by 4 or 5 rounds. The truth has spoken.